Hello everyone, welcome and thank you so much for joining us virtually this evening to hear from some amazing women. We have Marisa Martins, Damilola Owoade and Simone Powderly. We hope that you and your loved ones are healthy and thank you for staying home and tuning in with us. I'm Simone Charles, I'm a senior account consultant in the brand partnerships team here at rewardStyle. I've been here for 2 years. In my spare time, I create content around plus size fashion, body confidence, fitness, and I like to share my experiences of being a 20-something Black female. I'm passionate about diversity and I always strive to empower all the influencers I work alongside to reach their full potential with the tools and resources we have on offer here at rewardStyle. rewardStyle LIKEtoKNOW.it is partnering with their community to recruit and continue expanding their network of influencers, tastemakers, creators, and stylists. Marisa, Damilola, and Simone P, as our Black community panel, are all here this evening to share their unique stories with you and inspire you to turn influencing into a viable career. During the panel, please feel free to submit any questions you may have via the Q&A function, as we'll be able to answer some at the end of the webinar. So without further ado, please give a warm welcome to Marisa, Damilola, and Simone Powderly.
Hi.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
So let's start talking a little bit about your backgrounds and how you first got into the influencer space. What were each of you doing before you became content creators? Marisa, let's start with you.
Oh, hey everyone. So I started, I think, around my second year of uni. Before I started uni, I decided that I was going to reinvent myself. So I decided to cut my hair really short before I enrolled. And then once I got there, I played a lot with like colours. I shopped a lot at vintage shops, and then once I got a feel for what I've sort of liked, I decided that I wanted to create my own platform for styling. So I created a Facebook page called The Messy Wardrobe. I asked a friend at the time who loved photography to take my pictures, and I've been creating fashion content ever since.
That's amazing. And Simone, how did you get into it?
So I fell into it. I'm a bit of a cocktail. I've worked in every industry, from the music industry, civil service, and my last role was working in mental health in the rehab. But my page started from modeling and working in like the hair industry, and then I used to talk about hair, and then that fell into like beauty, and then I kind of wanted to share like my wellness side of my mental health, and I've been rolling with that now for the last I'll say 6 years, but I've always been good on socials, like from MySpace days. So yeah, definitely say I fell into it, and then I kind of just made it into like a career.
MySpace, that's such a throwback.
No.
Sammy, how did you get started?
Well, for me, it all started in 2014. I was in uni at this time, and I wanted a platform to express my style myself. So at this time, I was obviously into YouTube. I really enjoyed watching videos. So I played around with YouTube a bit, and but with time I realized I found it really time consuming, because obviously being a full-time student in uni, the process of uploading, of creating content for YouTube, was just time consuming. So I had to prioritize my uni work. But while I was on YouTube, I also found out from one of the influencers about blogging, because she does that, put that a still image on the blog. So I did a little bit of research, checked about blogging, how to do and all that. So so I thought to myself, this is something I can do. I've always been a fashion girl. I enjoy my style, and this is something I could do. So I started following some of my favorite influencers on Instagram, and then from there I started taking pictures here and there, and just to get a feel of how people will see my style, just to test the waters. And after a while, I started a blog, because everything was going fine, and ever since I've been doing it.
That's amazing. So, okay, Marisa and Dami, in addition to creating content as a side hustle, I understand that you're also both working full-time, which I fully understand. How do you find the balance between your part-time passions and your full-time careers? Dami, let's start with you.
Well, I currently work part-time actually, because that gives me the flexibility between my work and my passion, obviously. And obviously finding a balance is quite tricky. to be honest, I'm not the most organized person. So I wouldn't say I have the right balance, but for me, what has worked is just prioritizing what's more important, what needs to be done now and first, and also taking the time out. So I feel like if I, obviously being a mom, being at my work and also my passion, it can all be a bit too much to put on at it sometimes. So if I feel like I'm getting too stressed or there's just too much going on, I take a breather. So taking a break from now, you know, from my passion, because obviously I do have to prioritize. And that's when you will see me on Instagram taking a week off or so. So knowing when to stop is so important, because obviously if you have so much going on, this has an effect on you physically, mentally, and it does in turn comes on your creative side. So having just, you know, refreshing yourself and just coming back on to it. That's what I do.
Yeah, it's so important to take a break, definitely. Marisa, how about you?
Yeah, I definitely agree with like prioritizing. But I think I still see like my content work as like a hobby, which I think really helps me not to like put like too much pressure on myself to always feel the need like to create. So yeah, whenever I've got like spare time or I'm not working, then I put the effort and put the time into creating like the content I love. But recently I think things have like blown up a little bit and I have had like way more work coming in, but then I always just make sure that it's with like brands like I truly love or companies that I truly love, so then that way I'm always like keen and I want to create that content for them and for myself.
Yeah, of course, definitely. And Simone, you took the leap to freelancing and creating content full time. Can you tell us when and how your influencer business went from being a creative outlet to actually a viable career?
Yeah, so I only left my full-time job nearly 2 years ago, and I took the leap because I was basically doing a senior role that wasn't like a job title, and they decided, you know, it needs to be seen as a proper role, but I had to interview for it, but they gave it to someone else. I was like, okay, Simone, take the leap. I think I just turned 30. I had all these things going on, all these passion projects, because my profile was literally a hobby to me. Like, I didn't know you could really make money out of it. So I was always like, no, it's just my little side hustle. If I make a bit of money, then it's fine. So took the leap, and then I just found I was able to really focus on my passion and then really create the stuff that I wanted to, and that's when more work came in, because I was able to just give it that time and focus. But I adored my job, and when I announced on my profile like, oh, I'm like leaving my job, people were like, you don't do this full time. I was like, no guys, like I have a full-time job, and don't feel bad that you have like a full-time job and you can have like, you know, social media presence. Like, it is a great thing to have, and I do miss my job, but I'm thankful that I've been able to build a business from it.
Yeah, that's so amazing. So let's talk about what a typical week looks like. So Dami, what does a typical week look like for you?
Now that we are obviously back to, you know, some kind of normality, the kids have their routine, I have my routine, and so for me, a typical week, you know, start at 7 a.m. daily, and obviously now my partner is in full-time, so I'm responsible for taking the kids to school and also taking them. So in the morning, you know, getting them dressed up, dropping them off at school, and then I go off to work. And then I finish just about the time for pickup. So I pick them up and, you know, head home, and that's when my full mommy duty start. And then, yeah, so basically that's for me like a Monday to Friday. Of course, I do try to put in content work during the week as well, but weekends are when I mainly focus on outfit planning, shooting, and just, you know, planning my content for the week.
Amazing. Simone, what's a typical week look like for you?
So when I was in my full-time job, I definitely had a very specific routine. Like, these would be my content days and things like that to have a balance. Now I'm more routines, as in like Sundays, I'll kind of plan my week, see what's happening, what like briefs I have from like my collaborations. My Mondays are like my shoot content days, because I find like all the PR and agencies are like emailing on the Monday, so there's no point me spending my time on my phone, so I like leave that to Tuesday. But it is whatever, but I try to have a routine of like, these are my content shoot days, these are the days that I just do my admin, and then weekends I try to keep myself, because I am a bit scatty and I don't know how to say no sometimes. I'm like, yes, this is
Me too.
I really wanted this, so you have to keep a balance. So, or it doesn't feel like like a passion or a hobby, do you know what I mean? Then it does feel like work, and I'm just like, oh gosh, I've been doing this for like all my life. Like, so yeah, I try to keep a balance of a routine where I am doing something nice for myself, because then you're working 24/7. Like, I feel like sometimes with it. So yeah, keeping that balance and routine does really help me, sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you're got a presence on social media, there's no off days. You're literally always on, like Monday to Monday, you're always
Oh
on.
my God, yeah.
Marisa, what does a typical week look like for you?
So obviously my weeks are kind of all over the place, and because I still work full time, but generally I work in store like 3 days a week. 2 of those weeks I do appointments and like styling, and then one of those days I do social content for Topshop, so for their social media like platforms. And then 2 days of the week I create like further content as well for Topshop, but I do that from home, and I've been working from home since the whole of lockdown. And then just like on my weekends or whenever I've got like spare time, I cram in like seeing friends, seeing my boyfriend, like going out wherever I can. I also then create content for like my own like Instagram, and also for my other account that I've got that I've just started, Business of Colour, which I run with like my friend. But then there are also days where I literally do nothing, just relax and like chill on my days off.
It's needed.
Yeah.
So needed.
So needed. So can you tell us a little bit more about Business of Colour? Why did you set it up? What can people expect to see if they were to go onto the page?
So just like in the light of the like Black Lives Matter like movement, we wanted to do like more just to like support our communities and support like Black owned business, especially at the time where it's like pandemic and everything's been so like hard hit as well. We wanted just to represent like more diversity and just give different people like a view of what a Black owned business like looks like. Like both me and Danielle like both work in like styling, and we just wanted to create a page that showed like our minimal like aesthetic with like brands that we actually shop from and that we genuinely like love. At the time, like social media like platforms were sharing like more Black owned business, but we just thought that we could take that like to the next level.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's really good. And everyone go check it out if you haven't already done it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It looks amazing, just to say myself.
Yes.
Amazing. So I know we've got some people listening that aren't maybe familiar with rewardStyle. So rewardStyle and LIKEtoKNOW.it was created to help power the influencer business and provide consumers the answer to the question, where'd you get that? What are you wearing? So how has rewardStyle and LIKEtoKNOW.it helped you become the influencer you are today? Let's start with Simone.
So I didn't know that you could make like money. So I always just shared, like, and my friend would be like, Simone, why are you putting this up and putting a link, an affiliate link? And I was like, what is that? Like, what do you mean? And then she's like, take it down. And then I was like, okay. And then she like showed me about like rewardStyle. And then I started like showing it. I was like, okay. But then I used to be like, is this bad? But my friend's like, you tell people all the time where you get your stuff, like it's okay. And then since I've been doing it, at first I was just like, this is too much work for me. And then I like met up with rewardStyle, and they're like, no, this is how you do it. You put the links in here and then you pop it up, and it's so easy. And it's like, yeah, I can do this. And now I've like created a highlight, so everyone can just go in the highlight and then everything's there. So it's helped me not feel the pressure, because now I can be like, check out my highlights. This is where all my bits are. So it's so good. And again, when I was like taking the leap to leave my job, it helped because I was making a bit of commission. So those moments of like, oh, I'm not going to be making money, it really helped me to have that bit of income.
That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. Marisa, what about you?
I think just rewardStyle has just been amazing in like connecting like the pieces I love and making it accessible like to my followers. Especially when I didn't have like over 10k followers, I could still put that link up and people and my followers could still like get those pieces. Now I just think it's like amazing, and it's just so easy to use, how I can just put like the link there and then you can literally just swipe up and you can just pick like if you like what I'm wearing that day then you can just swipe up and like buy it, or then I can just put like the link on my actual post. But then I just love how I can create like a whole new aesthetic like just away from it. I really want to play like around with it more, and I want to like try and create like styling videos on it, and also creating like mood boards. I've seen like some amazing like styling mood boards on there, and I want to like have a go at try and recreate them as well.
Yeah, definitely. We launched Like to Know It video as well, so if you've not gone to check that out, it's getting really good reception. It's such a good way to like see all the products instead of the photos. Definitely check that out. Dami, how's Like to Know It helped you?
When I found out about Like to Know It, obviously, I knew this was a platform that I wanted to be a part of. It has really helped me on my journey as well. There's always constant help on how to use resources within the app, and I feel like when they had an event in Manchester, there was a Like to Know It tactile shop, so I attended, and I felt like I received even more help, you know, talking to someone face to face than the emails that I receive. And I find it to be very good for you to be more visible on the platform as well, because there's so much brands, and so this obviously helps you as an influencer, and a lot of brands can also be found on the app. So, you know, linking, you know, giving direct links to my audience is so much more easier, because, you know, there's so much brands from fashion to, you know, beauty and to home. So, you know, I find it really, really easier just to link, you know, whatever I'm wearing to my audience.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people have described Like to Know It as like a shoppable Instagram feed, so you can just scroll through, see all your favorite influencers, see what they're wearing, and it's very dangerous. Very dangerous
yeah.
So let's take it back a little bit. So when you first started out, what would you say was the biggest challenge you faced, and how did you overcome it? Marisa, let's start with you.
I think when I first started, my like biggest obsession was getting like a massive following, and also like if I posted a picture that and it didn't do that well, I felt like it was like a personal attack on me, which is very strange to feel. And I think that wasn't very healthy as well, to always look at my following and looking at my figures as well. So then I decided to step away from that and just look at my account as like my personal space, and I still try and do that. I was like, I'm creating this and I'm creating it for myself. And I think once I started to do that, things started to change like a little bit for me. I think I had maybe just under like 5,000 followers, and I was working with like well-known brands. I was working with like Monica Vinader and like Uggs as well, which then proved to me that I didn't need that massive following to work with brands that like I like. And yeah, until this day, I just look at my Instagram as this is my personal space. I'm going to post what I like and what I love, and I think that's working well for me.
Yeah, I think that's such an important point to make. It's not necessarily about the follower count. I think it's about the quality of the feed. And when we look at applications, we look at the quality of the feed and see what kind of things you're posting. And, you know, people say, oh, but I've not got 10,000 followers, can still apply. And it's like, yes, you can still apply, like as long as you've got great
which is amazing as well.
That's so good.
Definitely want to give those opportunities to everyone that has potential. So.
Yeah, and it shows people as well, it's like that's not what it's about. Like if you just genuinely love fashion and you want to make money from it, like you can start small, and then if you grow, you grow. But yeah, I think that's a very good way of getting people to come in, not having these like massive like followings.
Yeah, definitely. Dami, what about you? What were your challenges when you were first starting out?
My challenges, I feel like for me, it's overthinking things. I am constantly always overthinking things. You know, not feeling like you're good enough, or not feeling like I'm ready for certain things. And I feel like that really holds me back. I feel like I'm going to mess up something even before I start on it. And another thing is obviously not being able to express myself, you know, in words. I am such an introvert person. I'm that person standing there looking lost. So, but obviously it's something I'm still working on, but I feel like that's another thing that holds me back. And a good example is something like this, a webinar, like videos. I tend to run away from them because I just feel like, oh my God, I'm going to mess up. So I feel like just overthinking things is one of my, you know, struggles. And obviously it's a continuous struggle, but I'm working at it. And I feel like I'm not letting it hold me back anymore, you know? So just doing it anyway.
That's such a good point. Get out your comfort zone. Do things that makes you feel
exactly
challenges you. Definitely. And Simone, what about you?
I think a few things, but my main thing was like being black and like the token, you know, the looser curl, the light skinned girl. I remember going to events and walking in, and I would be like, I'm the token one. And I used to constantly email agencies, just happily to give them my network and my connects, because I'm all about bringing people in, but it frustrated me. And I used to have to explain to brands, like, you can't just have me. I don't, yes, I am of colour, but I don't represent Black women. And that's not me trying to be a voice for you guys. It's just like, it doesn't sit right with me. And they would be like, oh, really? We didn't know that. And I'm like, fair enough, you know now. So I'm like, you know now. So yeah, so like being in this space and, you know, being that token person because it doesn't fit right with me, and, you know, constantly having to remind these agencies. And when Black Lives Matter happened, I run workshops with teen girls, which is for mixed race and Black girls. And guys, I used to pitch all the time to these brands or explaining what we do, and they never would sponsor us. Like, it was such hard work to just get a few goodie bags for the girls. And just like, oh, why do you have these spaces? Why is it only for mixed and Black women? But now they're like, oh, we get it. And I was negotiating and know my worth a little bit. All the gifting that I've always had to receive, and then seeing another girl like having an ad, and I'd be like, why is there no budget for us?
Yeah.
True.
So it always, so it still gets me now, but yeah, those have been my frustrations. But then I'm just like, just continue to do you, and it will come. And I think that's why a lot of, I don't know, girls, if you feel the same, but Black creators feel they have to keep their full-time job because they can't take for the leap, because it's just like they always take, oh, we only can have one of you, or like two of you.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I totally agree.
Oh, that's what this webinar is
you're
for.
right on point.
Yeah.
I do think it is changing now, though. I think what happened a few months ago is definitely, I think it's changing the influencer space in a positive way. I think hopefully
I agree.
more towards inclusion, and I can already see a lot of brands like taking strides to try and be inclusive. Simone, can you tell us a bit more about your teen workshop? It sounds so interesting.
Oh, my baby. So it launched 3 years ago. It's called the Teen Experience, and it's co-founded with Damilola, who is the founder of Treasure Dress, which is a monthly subscription box of like loads of hair goodies for Black textured hair. And we basically want to create a safe space for young girls from 12 to 19. And the workshops on like vision boards, wellness, Black beauty, and just like real conversations. And it's just amazing to see their journey. Like, we had a teen who obviously started when she was 15 and now 18, and the confidence when she would walk into the room, like, used to be so shy. So sometimes I sit in the workshops and I'm like, I so needed this. And that's come from, in terms of when people ask me how do I get the sponsors, it's because I've used my personal platform to be like, okay, I have this project, because with me it's about balance, right? So yes, I get these amazing collaboration and ads, but I have to give back to my community, period. That's just how I am. So all the time I'm thinking ways I can do it, and that was the birth of the Teen Experience, especially because I left my full-time job and I miss my patients so much. So yeah, having the Teen Experience just makes me still feel I'm giving back. But yeah, it's been running for 3 years. Obviously it's locked down, so we can't be around them. So we're probably going to do something like a webinar with them soon. Yeah,
I was going to say, you can probably do it virtually. I was hoping to do something like that when I was a teenager.
You guys will have to be involved. Honestly, it's amazing. And all the parents, they're like, I needed this. Can you do one for us? And we do like brunches for them as well, like cute brunches. It's a whole little experience, but yeah.
Okay, so what advice, ladies, would you give to someone that was interested in turning their love for storytelling and content creation into a successful business, brand, or career? Is there anything you wish you had known when you first started out? Dami, let's start with you.
It's obviously as difficult as this sounds. To be honest, I would say just that. This is something that I had to get as well. I remember when I wanted to start, I was telling people, my friends, going, oh, I'm going to start this next year when I finish uni, or when I do this, I will start it. Just start now, because, you know, you don't know what you're going to do next year, what's going to happen next year. So I would say just start. Obviously, with whatever you have, whatever resources you have, just start. You know, create quality content. Be who you are, because obviously your platform is your space, and it's going to show your personality, you know, your passion, and, you know, just you. So obviously be very confident in who you are. That's very important. I feel like there's an audience for everyone, because obviously we all bring so much different things to the table. So, you know, that you don't need to feel like, oh yeah, where am I going to fit in? Or, you know, I'm not sure this is for me, or I don't know how to start. Like, you know, there's an audience for everybody. That's what I believe. And I feel like you learn along the way. Even for me, I'm still learning. There's some things that I still don't know. And, you know, you fake it till you make it. Okay, so you learn, you know, everything. You might feel like clueless right now, but you just keep going and you learn. And also, it's so important to know your what. Your time is so valuable. That's one thing that I've had to really learn. You know, like Simone said, you know, a lot of times you get gifted and you see somebody else, you know, with heart, and you just feel like, you know, what's wrong with me? So your time is really, really valuable. So know your what.
I really love the point. There's an audience for everyone. I think that's the amazing thing about social media and the internet. No matter what niche you're into, there's going to be a community.
Exactly.
Online, and
Exactly.
share it. That's so important.
And one more thing I wanted to say, like, also just, you know, reach for improvement, not perfection, because that's one thing that I feel like I struggle with. I'm always like wanting that shot to be perfect or this to be this. And I just feel like when I go back down, I'm like, oh, that's not actually bad. So just reach for improvement. Don't be like, oh, it has to be this. Don't try to reach for somebody else's, you know, perfection. Just reach for your own improvement. Don't be so perfect.
That's such good advice. Simone, what about you?
I would say just invest in yourself, like truly invest in yourself. And that's not like going out to get the latest cameras. I have like two professional cameras. I still love shooting on my phone. Like,
exactly.
So invest in yourself. Think about like I said, I love vision boards. Like create a vision of how you see yourself, and even like how you want to see your Instagram, and just build on it. I think my struggle was that I had the modeling side and obviously the hair, and then I had my mental health side, and then I had people that were telling me, you need to separate it. And I was like, no, because my journey is why I am the person I am today, and it is me. So I am launching something else. So yeah, just keep on investing in yourself, and you can just like, it will come, like it will come together, but you have to be authentic. And I know we always hear that word, like just be authentic, but don't force it. And there is someone for you, because I remember I had 5,000 followers, and it was so engaging. I feel like the more following I keep getting, people feel like, oh, she's not going to speak. And now I have a blue tick. I'm like, guys, I'm still seeing. Like, I'm still so chatty. So yeah, just keep on being authentic. There is an audience there for you, and just remember, love this. Because remember, just treat it like your hobby, because then you're just going to keep on doing it, and then people will come. Yeah,
such good advice. I think authenticity is such a buzzword that everyone
uses. It is, isn't it?
It's so important, because I think your audience can spot when something's not authentic from a mile away. So don't look at what everyone else is doing. Just focus on the content that you want to put out there.
Exactly. So important.
Marisa, what about you?
Yeah, I think I agree with like a lot of the girls as well. I think it's like really important, like, to just be yourself and create content that like you really love and you want to put out there, and then hopefully like people will follow you and want to see what you're up to because of that, because it's your personal like work. I also think like try your best to like be consistent. This is something that I need to work on and I'm working on. But yeah, I also feel like consistency like is really key if you're trying to build a business or trying to create something for yourself. But even though I am saying that, but I also think social media, it's important to like take a break from it and get away from it all. Just like we would on like a 9-to-5 job, when you're stuck, it's too much, I need a holiday, and then you go off somewhere. I think it's also important to do that while you're working in social media, just to take time away from it and refresh yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some times where I've uninstalled Instagram because I'm like, I just need a break from seeing what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, because I've got like the timer limit on mine. I'm like, if it hits that timer, sometimes I do like mute it, but other times I'm like, okay, I've hit my time. Like, get off it, get off social media, get off my phone.
You could be scrolling for hours.
Yeah.
So influencing is about representation of your community, sharing who you are and what your interests are, as we've spoken about, inspiring and educating the people in your network and beyond. As individuals with influence, is there anything that you would say you've learned or reflected upon over the last few months that you'd like to share with your communities those who have tuned in tonight to hear from you? Simone, let's start with you.
I think I kind of touched on it before, but I've always been speaking about this, like, period. So when I was talking to, like, my co-founder of the Teen Experience, we were like, you know, with everything that was happening with Black Lives Matter and the increase of brands and agents contacting me, I was like, okay, like, it's great, but I just need, like, a moment. But I will just remind us all, we've been doing this and we've been showing ourselves, like, up, and it's time to just be around these tables. Like I always say, I've met with so many PR agencies and they've taken me for coffee to pick my brain. I'm like, just employ a Black woman in your office.
Yeah.
Just employ it. Just and I've vocalized this all the time. So I think for me, it's been amazing to see my community come together and us to, I know it's like a really hard time, but now we just got to keep our foot on the gas and just know our worth. Like there's budget out there, okay?
Yeah.
There is budget out there, and remember to know your worth. So yeah, completely just keep our foot on the gas and keep going for sure. And just remember, we've been showing up for ourselves. We don't need to force ourselves to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, they need us as much as I guess we need them, and it's just about that collaboration, and that's what I love. Like every brand that I work with, I'm like, yeah, I like this works for me.
Yeah. And Dami, how about you?
Well, I have learned so much from the beginning of my journey, obviously, until now, and I'm still learning. So, but I feel like there's a process for everyone. So there's different process. Even for LIKEtoKNOW.it, I wasn't accepted the first time. It was until the second time, and I feel like obviously the hack is more lenient now in terms of how accepting people, because obviously they want to be at the start of your journey. So it doesn't matter if you have, you know, less followers or high followers, they are being more lenient to accepting you no matter how many followers you get. But for me, it's different. It's like just knowing that the process is different for everyone. So, you know, go for what you want. You know, don't let, you know, whatever happened yesterday, you know, one rejection stop you, I would say. So just know what you want and just go for it. That's what I would say, basically.
Amazing. And Marisa?
I think that in like the past few months, I've learned like not to be afraid to talk about like topics and issues that I feel passionate about. I think it's important like to put those things out there, so just to empower other people like my followers or whoever else to feel like that they can do the same if they see an injustice or if they see something that they think it's not right, that they can speak up about it.
Yeah, and I think the nature of social media, like I said before, is being able to speak and someone is going to be able to hear you and someone's going to be able to take that on board. And it's so important we continue having these conversations so that we can all kind of, like you said, put the foot on the gas and keep driving forward and keep making those changes. So thank you all so much for speaking from your hearts and sharing your learnings. And on that note, everyone tuning in, if you haven't applied to be an influencer or rewardStyle, please do. You can go to rewardStyle.com, put in your social handles, put in any information you want to tell us, and someone will get back to you. So just going on talking about applying to be an influencer, why do you think it's more important now than ever before to, you know, be seen in those spaces and be present and have your voice heard? Marisa, let's start with you.
I think I'm just passionate about diversity and representation as well. I think it's important like to build like generational wealth within like the Black community, and I think rewardStyle is a great like platform to do that. Like we said before, you don't need the massive followers, you don't need that, but you can start small and you can start building something for yourself if you wanted to. Yeah,
definitely. Simone, what about you?
We know how influential we are. Like, we've seen the cultural appropriation, we've seen it. And I've worked in the hair modeling industry, and the amount of money we spend on our hair, on products, and we've seen how many like beauty brands now are trying to come out with like, you know, for curly, coily hair, natural hair. So we deserve like to get all the coins. So it's just amazing now that seeing that and making change, because honestly, girls, like I've always said to brands, you know that we buy from you, right? Like I say to brands, like, yeah, I use that. So it's interesting. Some brands are just none the wiser sometimes, but it's just like, yeah, that would work for me. That would work for us. So I think, yeah, we need to understand how much we do actually spend and the amount that we could like be earning. Because yeah, it's insane. I did my like Googles and stuff, and it's like, okay, this is how much Black women are spending.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Some people think like we don't, but we really, really do.
Yeah, just women in general spend a lot, and I don't think why it should be categorized in like in that way. Yeah,
I agree.
No, Dami, what do you think?
For me, I would say representation matters, obviously. That's the whole point of this, you know. And I believe like there's an audience for everyone. So we all bring these different things to the table, and there's someone looking for, you know, exactly you. So, you know, your eyes, the way you look, your hair, you know, your color, whatever, you know, there's always someone looking for exactly you. And for me, when one of the first influencers that I followed, I mean, she has great style that I felt comfortable in. But I also feel like I could relate to a personality. Like I said, I'm such an introvert, and I could, you know, see this from this person, and I just felt more uncomfortable following this person. So no matter who you are, even, you know, you've got curly hair, you are, you know, you're a petite girl, you're a curvy girl, you know, whatever, there's always someone looking for exactly you. So yeah, because it's so important to represent everyone. So yeah,
especially in just growing up and things like that, you want to grow up seeing people that look like you, or
exactly
being like, I can wear this, or I can go into the shop and not feel like alienated or feel away. And I think it's like about time that things need to be changed, and we need to be representing like everyone and not just certain types and certain people.
Definitely. On that note, is there any influencer, or is there anyone that you follow that you like really look up to, or that you find really inspiring? I'm just really curious to know. Marisa, do you have anybody?
Oh my gosh, I've got like the worst memory. This is I'm the worst person to ask this question first. Wait, let me try. Okay, I'm just gonna forget people's names.
Dami, is there anyone that you follow that you look up to and feel inspired by?
Well, I wouldn't say look up to, obviously. As real as we want Instagram to be, there's always, it's not everything you see that is, you know, what it is. But one of the person and I would say one of the first person that I actually followed was Jadot Fashion. So she was one of the first people that I followed, and I really relate to her style. So yeah, I would say her for now. Obviously, a whole lot more people since then, but like I can't remember the names, but she was one of the first person I followed. So yeah.
Amazing. Simone, what about you?
So she's actually in the room. She's gonna hate that.
No,
so it's Fresh Lengths, Leslie, and I've followed her for years. And I'm more of a personality influencer, I'd say, as opposed to like fashion and beauty. But how she does her content, and she always makes me feel like I can do it. Like she doesn't even like, I can't shoot like that, and she always helps me. So yeah, I just love her content, and I just always feel like, yeah, I can do that. Like I watch her videos, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I can do that. And then they're not an influencer, but I love Tracy LaRose, Diana Ross's daughter. I always say the name wrong, but I just love her energy and just what she's about in terms of community. And you know, she is a light-skinned woman, but she also is an advocate and speaks out for like Black people and stuff. So I love what she does. So I have like different things. Yeah.
Amazing. No, it's really interesting to hear. Well, thank you all so much for sharing your unique stories about becoming an influencer and how you use your influence not only in the Black community but beyond on social media, just putting it out into the world. I think we can all agree that with the more influencers joining our community, there is more opportunity for us to reach, connect, and inspire one another. So we have a few minutes left now for questions. So I'm going to have a look and see what people have been saying.
By the way, can you guys see, is my video actually moving?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, because I'm frozen over here.
Okay, questions. Simone, when did you go full-time as an influencer?
2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. Around this time, actually, I handed in my notice. Yes, 2 years ago.
Well, how did you feel when you did it?
I cried because I loved my job, but then it was about taking the leap. And then I was just like, I can do this. But I still had a routine. I kept on waking up really early. And then my friends were like, no, enjoy your time. So I just kind of sat back a bit and just focused on myself and just enjoyed the flexibility. Like, it's like I don't have any kids or anything. So for me, it's okay to wake up at 10 o'clock. I don't. But if I'm at a stage where, do you know what? I can look at my phone. If I want to wake up at 10 o'clock, I can. If I want to work, all my close friends, they're not in the influence world, so they're like 9 to 5 and stuff. But I appreciate that because they keep me, you know, like
exactly.
So yeah, it was scary, but I needed to do it. I'm all about feel the fear and do it anyway, and it just started coming to me. So yeah, it was a good feeling in the end.
I'm glad it worked out. There's another really good question. So how do you negotiate and show your value to a brand that wants to collaborate with no budget? There's a lot of payment questions here, so that's a really good one. Marisa, let's ask you.
It's kind of hard to like know what to charge for on Instagram, because I reckon like it's hard to find that information, and everyone's obviously on like different followers and whatever. But I just think of it, how long would it take me to create that job? Is it like a whole day, or like what is my worth? What like, because they're benefiting from it, I'm benefiting from it, so I'm going to try and see how long it will take me. But if a brand just does want to do gifting and things like that, I do sometimes accept it if I love the brand enough and I want to wear that brand, and I'm like, of course, like why not? But then if I feel like someone's trying to exploit me, I've now learned, and I think I'm quite good at being like, no, like I'm okay, like maybe we'll work in the future, we'll work at some other time. But yeah, I think I've learnt my worth like a lot, especially in the last few months as well. I've learned to speak out when I feel like something isn't right for me, and not just to be like, oh yeah, but now I'm like, no, it's okay.
And Dami, how about you?
Oh, sorry, say that question again so I can be sure.
How do you negotiate and show your value to a brand that wants to collaborate with no budget?
Well, for me, I would say sometimes it's, you have to have in mind, sometimes brands do run up a budget because obviously from what I know, they do have set budget, and sometimes they do run out of it. But I feel like obviously if a brand comes to you, the first thing you should know is, does the brand work well with your style, your personality, and ask if they have a budget. If they come back to you, they don't have a budget, obviously I would say talk about what the budget is doing. So basically, let's say your transport. For me now, I have kids, childcare, your photographer, your time as well. So let them know what the budget is going towards. And if they come back saying they still don't have a budget, then it's up to you to decide if the gifting is worth, your time. So if this is a brand that you love, that you would wear the pieces, you want to buy, you would buy the pieces anyway, or, if this is something that is basically worth your time, you would know. Do you understand what I mean? So, yeah, I would say that's the best advice I can give.
Yeah. And Simone, what about you?
So in terms of my negotiating, because I do the modeling side, so I always tell people to remember the usage. Like, so I will get booked for a shoot, but it's money in the usage. So like, I did a TV campaign. They want to reuse the ad. I get paid for that. So just be mindful of, are they wanting to go on all their websites? These are the little things where you can like add on a bit of money. But in terms of when it's completely no budget, I'm like, do you know what? I was like, if I'm really interested in the brand, I'll be like, okay, I'm quite authentic. Send me the products. If I really like it, then I'll pitch an idea to you and we can collaborate at a later time. Like, that's all okay. Like, there's so many brands, guys, that I got my first, like, a skincare brand I adored. I used to bang on about it. 5 years later, I finally got a campaign with them. So it will come in time. But yeah, sometimes budgets do run out, or they have a limited amount. But yeah, it's what sits with you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
I think also if a brand like really loves you, they'll sometimes just send you products, but they won't make you post or make you. Yeah, I think that's, they'll like, oh, we love you, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll send you this. Like, if you want to use it, use it. If you don't, you don't, which I think is like a perfect way. Then you don't feel pressured to have to post or do anything with that product.
It's true. I feel like also you have to identify what the gift really is. A lot of times brands say, oh, we're gonna gift you something, but they don't want you to post at a certain time, at a certain date with no budget. So I'm like, okay, that is not a gift. For gifting, fine, I can do it, within this period of time. But if you tell me, okay, post on this date, on this time, that is not something you should consider.
That's when you say budget.
Exactly. That's when you need to pay for it.
I love that. Okay, another question. Being Fashion Month, do you have any plans for COVID-friendly fashion shows, events, or trips? Does anyone have any coming up? No, I mean, there's loads of virtual shows on, but I guess I do feel like they have, brands have like virtual shows, but to be honest, no, I don't have any plans right now. But yeah, obviously that might change. Yeah, I mean, it could all change. Another question, how does payment work on rewardStyle? So I can answer that one. If you go to rewardstyle.com and then go to your analytics dashboard, you'll be able to see all your open commissions and your closed commissions, all the products you've sold, and then you have a little status bar at the top. If you have any questions, you can just contact your account consultant and they can advise you. What is the best way to introduce LTK to my audience? That's a good one. Simone, how have you introduced LTK to your audience?
So I used to actually shoot my clothes. So that's what I used to think, I've got to shoot the clothes, then I've got to post it. And I just didn't have time. So what I do is, if I'm just sitting at home, I'll be like, oh, this is what's in my shopping bag. I saw this, I like a bit of this. And then I just like share the links. I think that's really more authentic. And, I tend to ask them like, oh, should I go for this? Should I go for that? And that gets the engagement. And then you don't feel like you're just doing, your links all the time. Yeah. That's what works for me in terms of like how my audience engages with me. So I think just know, like, see, and ask the audience, like, don't be afraid to ask questions like, guys, would you like me to, weekly show you my faves? And they'll go, yeah. Because I used to feel like that about unboxing, like, I used to like, I feel like I'm just here and showing them. I was like, do you guys like it? And they're like, yeah, show us, like, they're interested in it. So I was like, fine, I'll do it. And I do it on a certain day. So yeah, that's what I do.
Amazing. And Dami, how did you introduce LTK to your followers?
I feel like a lot of people wouldn't realize you have it if you don't tell them. So I feel like when I started, I would put it in my caption, letting them know if you like this picture or your screenshots or something like that. But obviously I had to let them know they do have to download the app for that to happen. Also, you could put it up on your stories sometimes. Let's say, just let people know that, oh, well, I do have this app. So if you want to see whatever I've won this week at all, just go on this app. I've linked everything in there, and with a swipe up, and then sometimes it just makes, so just reminding people. You can even just show them like how to download the app or whatnot, and just put them in your highlight, that way, because a lot of times people still don't read captions. So you have to keep reminding them. And and I feel like sometimes the story works. So if you just done an outfit, and a lot of times people put the LIKEtoKNOW.it tag instead of the brand, so let them know that if you do go on this app, you will get all the links. So yeah, I would say that's a great way.
And you can also get LTK on web as well. So if you were to do a swipe up on LTK on your stories, you can go to the web page, and then obviously if you have the app, it will redirect you, so it's accessible for everyone. Marisa, how did you introduce LTK to your audience?
Yeah, I introduced it on like my favorites as well. I think that was like the most exciting thing about getting over 10k followers. Because I was like, oh my god, 10k, now I could do like the swipe up. So I've got like the highlights on my Instagram, and then I just mix it, like whenever I see something I love, or whenever I'm wearing something, then I just put it on there. So then obviously my followers like can just go up there and like constantly like just see what I'm wearing, or like what I love for the week as well.
Amazing. There's a really good question here that I want to say. So I think it's so important to women to have financial literacy and understand how to manage their own finances. How does making money and registering your income work when you're an influencer and you have a full-time job? When did you get an accountant, or do you do it yourself? Marisa, what do you do?
I do it all myself, and it is hard. But only because I'm like, I've only just like, I've had Instagram for a while, but I think only now have I actually been like, actually, I love to create content. I'm going to do this, and things have just picked up. So I reckon I will get used to it. I've got friends that are like, do freelance as well, that are artists. So if I ever need any help, that I know that I can go to them and ask them. But yeah, I do it all myself, all the finances. It is hard, but I think I'm getting there as well. And it's also nice to know, like, I can do this. Like, I can do this invoice. I can learn. Even every invoice is different, and it's like, what's going on here? But but it's nice to know that I can actually take this on, and I can like do this myself.
Amazing. And Dami, what about you? How do you manage it?
Same thing. I do it all myself as well. I would say not everything you would know how to do. So, but I would say there's, you know, we live in a world now that everything is available to you, any information. So, you know, checking YouTube, checking Google, you would find whatever, you know, from invoicing to tax and everything. So basically, yeah, just learning how to do it. And yeah.
You can learn to do anything on the internet, literally.
Exactly, anything.
Yeah. Or asking people as well. I feel like, don't be like afraid to ask people. Like when I don't know something, I'm like, oh, are you free in this time? Are you free then? Can you show me how to do an invoice? I still need to like contact some of my friends and be like, right, let's sit down, show me how to do this and that.
True.
We've got time for a few more questions. How do you create fashion content without having to always buy clothes? Simone, what do you do?
There is, so you can either ask the certain brands, could you collaborate with them? Some of them will either like send you the goods and then you've got to send them back. Or there's some really good websites now we can like rent out like clothes as well. But I think for me, because I was more like of the beauty and hair side, I only had a certain few brands that I really want to work with. So I used to buy it. I know some people do, you know, tend to order their clothes and like shoot in it and then like just send it back. Maybe don't do that. Don't let people know that I told you to do that. But people, that's how
back in the days.
But now don't do it. They come on. But I know fashion stylists used to do that. But yeah, just try and reach out to maybe some of the brands and just I think like I use some website, I don't know if I can say it actually, that you can like some influencers do sell their clothes. But yeah, for me, I just was like, I just bought enough that I would actually wear, because I'm not on trend. I just like what I like, but slowly I just would say to fans, look, I really would love to work with you. These are my ideas. You'll get the content you can use on your page. Let's collab.
Yeah.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
It's very true. Very true. Dami, what do you do?
Honestly, I am the one that buys everything. So when I started, I basically bought everything. I have no space at home. But then obviously as things start to pick up, I started getting gifting. I still buy things. If I like it, I buy it. And obviously, I started getting gifting. And at this point, I have enough gifting and I still buy my things. And I still have things in boxes that I still haven't been worn in a year or two. So but it's up to you. Obviously, like Simone said, she's not trend, but just buy things that you know that you would wear. So you know, even if I'm not wearing it now, obviously if I don't gain weight, that is, I can still wear it next year or so. So just buy things that you love. And yeah. But for me, to be honest, I haven't really like reached out to brands. I've only started doing that like this year. And yes, but I have gotten some gifting from reaching out to brands, but I always feel like awkward, like reaching out, like asking for like a free gift or something. So yeah, obviously everyone, well, whatever works for you, everyone is different. So I would say just do whatever works for you. So yeah, I wouldn't say empty your banks just because you're trying to be on trend, you know. So
yeah. And Marisa, how about you?
I haven't reached out to brands like personally myself either, but like if you follow me, you'll know that my style is very minimal, so I don't tend to buy a lot anyways. I think when I was younger, yeah, I did. I think most of us made that mistake. Like, you follow trends, you see this and you see that and you buy it. But I think growing up, and I've learned not to follow trends. I've learned to be like, who am I buying this for? Is this for me? And I think that's what I do now. I'm like, do I love this top? If I love it, I buy it. And I try to be conscious, obviously, like today's world, like I'm trying to be conscious of what I buy, and I don't want to buy too much, and I don't want to like be wasteful either. I think in my shots, people always think that I'm wearing different things, but if you see me in day-to-day life, you'll see me in the same top probably 5 days out of like that week, because obviously I'm creating content. I want my followers to see something different, but if you see me out and about, I'm going to work, I make the most out of like the clothes that I own and have.
I think it's also good if you like style whatever you already own, to be honest, because I like seeing that sometimes on influencers, like, oh, that way I can wear it with this as well. So I think that's great as well. You know? Doesn't have to be like something new every single time.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about Like to Know It, a strategy that we often like to say to our influencers, is you don't have to always wear something brand new. You can link to a dress that you've had for 5 years, and then if you find some alternatives on Like to Know It, for those who haven't seen it before, you see the image, and then underneath you will see all the links to all different various websites. So if you have a floral dress that you wore 5 years ago, you can link to loads of floral dresses that are online now. So
exactly that I have now,
without it having to be brand new. So I don't feel like you have to get a brand new wardrobe to be able to post on Like to Know It. You absolutely don't. And just one quick question, we'll do a quick fire. How often do you guys post on social? Simone, how often do you post?
So for me, Insta stories, I'm chatty, that's all my personality. Grid post, I manage it, so I only try to stick to 2 ads a week in terms of work-wise, and then it's kind of my flowy content. So a bit of wellness one week, a bit of fashion and hair. So because I try and cover 3 things, but stories, oh yeah, you're going.
Really small.
I balance it out.
Marisa, how often do you post?
Oh, okay. I'm the most random person that you probably like will follow. I don't know. It just depends on my mood. It depends how I feel. I am trying to like be more consistent. I'm trying to post like at least more. I'm gonna aim for once a week, like the best. But I am very inconsistent. Yeah. For now, it's just because I work full time as well. Like I do like some modeling stuff as well, and I've got like business of color. It's all. I think I need to establish like a balance. But I'm gonna try once or twice a week.
I thought you were about to say 4 times when you said once. Oh my God, you said once.
I can. There are times I do. There are times where I'm like, you'll see me every day and you'll be like, Marisa, like go away. But it literally just depends on like my workflow.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dami, how often do you post?
For me, I try to post 3 times in a week. So for me to be consistent, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I try to post. But sometimes if I do have more work that week, then you might see more posts. But if I don't have too much to post that way, because you know sometimes brand they tell you, oh, we want you to post on a certain day. So yeah, sometimes I will post more. But other than that, I try to make it just 3 posts, not too much.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, we've come to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us. If you'd like to learn more about rewardStyle and Like to Know It, if we've tempted you in this webinar, and you want to learn how you can make influencing a viable career, you can go to rewardstyle.com/apply, and someone from the team will be in touch with you. So thank you so much, ladies, and I hope everyone has found this useful, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye.